Good evening, good evening. If you all will please take your seats. Good evening to each and every one of you beautiful people. And welcome to the 2022 Black Alumni Reunion Gala celebration. My name is Ashley Ferguson. I am a proud 2006 Ohio University alumna, member of the Ohio University Alumni Association, Board of Directors, co-chair of the Bar 2022 Planning Committee, and your co-host this evening. I'll be joined later by my Planning Committee co-chair and Gala co-host, a 1988 Ohio University alumnus, Dale Robinson. We are delighted to welcome you to the signature event of Black Alumni Reunion Weekend, our Gala. As we continue our time together, I ask that you please wait to enjoy your first course until after the invocation. Please join me in thanking the Urban Jazz Coalition, including, which includes our 1976 Ohio University graduate, Phil Rainey. So yes. Thank you for sharing your music with us. This year's reunion is themed Honoring the Past, Building the Future. Tonight, we celebrate a storied past that is carried forward every day by Ohio's Black alumni and friends. And we honor the lives that live on in the works of the present and that influences the shape of the future. Tonight, it is fitting that we pause to celebrate and remember each of us and all of us, from John Newton Templeton to today's Black students. Looking around this ballroom, it's easy to see that we have much to celebrate as we imagine the future. From the robust program listings of Black alumni who have made their mark on our university's past, present, and future, through their trailblazing efforts and gifts of time, talent, and treasure, to the familiar faces of old friends and the friendly faces of new ones. It's clear that we are gathered here tonight as an integral part of the fabric of Ohio University, past, present, and future. We are about to share a fabulous evening and to honor a few extraordinary members of our community. But before you learn about these special honorees, it's my privilege to introduce Nico Karagosian, Vice President of University Advancement and President and CEO of the Ohio University Foundation. Please join me in welcoming him to the stage. Nico.
Good evening, everyone. The most important thing I'll tell you tonight is I found somebody's keys in the men's room. And I know car rental places can be a little picky, so it's a 2021 Chevy, and here are the keys. So you don't have to stand up. I won't make you do that right now in front of everybody, but I will give these out to the front, and you can, on your way out, grab them and not let anybody know that you lost your keys. So. Anyway, thank you so much for being here tonight. Stacy, my wife, and I are thrilled to be able to celebrate tonight with you. It's our second bar. As I said last night, it seems like the one in 2019 was so long ago, and this really feels like we're back together again in person. It's kind of our first just event where everyone is back, and it feels really good to be here, and really grateful for everybody coming here tonight and being part of the gala. I'm grateful for each of you for your presence here this weekend, your commitment and love for this incredible university. Previously, when we were here in 2019, I was not the father of a grad. I now am. My daughter graduated in 2022, and we have a daughter who's a sophomore and a son who is a freshman, so we are entrenched about as deep as it goes, and we couldn't be happier with that. Moments like these remind us of everything we value about higher education, of how that education helps to better understand the world and our place in it. This moment also reminds us about the work that we do in university advancement. Bringing alumni and friends like you together with our campus community of students, faculty, and staff creates a unique atmosphere charged with energy and hope and the promise of the future. Our alumni represent the best of who we are and what we do here at Ohio University. The awards and honors presented here at your Black Alumni Reunion Gala tonight will demonstrate to our students what success looks like and what their futures might hold. Thank you for making time to travel here, to come together in this room tonight and be part of this magic. It is now my pleasure to introduce Jen Bowie, Interim Associate Vice President of Alumni Relations, and Ty Carr, Director of Alumni Diversity Initiatives here at the Ohio University Alumni Association. Thank you.
Thank you, Nico. And it's my tremendous pleasure to be a part of tonight's celebration in this way, honoring the past and building the future. I'm going to admit there's a little bit of a last-minute ad. I want to take just a minute to thank the members and celebrate the members of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, who I learned is celebrating their 50th anniversary. Congratulations. To the Epsilon Omicron chapter here at Ohio University that chartered 50 years ago, and thank you also for establishing a scholarship endowment in honor of your reunion. Thank you to all of you. Would members of the fraternity please stand so that we know who's in the room? So Phi Beta Sigma. Thank you. We love the last minute adds to the program. We'll be here all night because there's so much to celebrate. As Nico said, Ohio University is marked by many wonderful traditions. Traditions like our first-year student convocation and the march up Richland Avenue to College Green, our commencement ceremonies, homecoming, and of course, the very special coming together of our Black alumni every 3 years for one of Ohio University's largest alumni gatherings. A little bit about me. In the fall of 1990, I was a first-year Bobcat. Had the good fortune of learning the ropes of living and learning at Ohio University from a very special resident director in Tiffin Hall. His name was Brian McIntyre. Brian was a senior who went on to be an engaged alumnus, who mentored countless journalism students, maybe there's a few of you here, and who served as an MC for Black Alumni Reunion Galas like this one before cancer took him from us in 2012. As an undergrad, I came to know him and love him as B-Mac, and his best friend B. Will, and that was not confusing at all. After countless games of euchre and many mentoring and informal counseling sessions, he took to greeting me as Beautiful Jen because he knew I needed him too. He welcomed me to performances and rehearsals of his brand Brother Talk. He taught me to love funk music, which I'd never heard before, Prince in a whole new way, and of course, Purple Rain. If you knew B-Mac. Purple Rain and Paper Moon. I don't know how those things go together. After he graduated in 1991, in the days before email, he was my steadfast pen pal. I still have letters from him. Slowly but very surely, I got to glimpse the Black student and alumni experience at Ohio University, and I got to see the beauty of it and also the struggle. In 1998, I was a grad student here, and B-Mac asked me to join him for Black Alumni Reunion. And that was the first of what would be nine Black Alumni Reunions for me. When I found him in the old Baker University Center, now Schoonover for Music and Dancing, maybe some of you were in that ballroom, there I could feel the energy, the compassion, the commitment that marks this special community. And of course, I was welcomed by his signature smile. And here tonight, I see that smile reflected in all of you. And I'm grateful for my memories of BMAC, for each of you, and for this shared Black Alumni Reunion experience. Thought I could do that. Yes. Your Black Alumni Reunion stands as a reminder of the rich history and the deep commitment of our university's Black graduates and friends. For the love that you feel for this place, for one another. It is evidence in the stories and the people gathered in this room and in this singular alumni celebration. Like most events of this magnitude, your Black Alumni Reunion wouldn't be possible without the commitment of some amazing staff and some really dedicated volunteers. Ty.
Thank you, Jen. Good evening, everyone. And welcome to Ohio University's 2022 Black Alumni Reunion. You guys look great, and girls. I don't just mean guys, it's a general statement. It has been my great pleasure to work to bring you this edition of our special triennial reunion. This is my 11th bar, so I've got Jen beat by a couple of years. This is my 11th. I came to Ohio University as a resident director on the West Green in 1991, where I served in Rice Trudley Boyd Complex. Since then, I've been attending each and every bar, and in my 35 years in higher education, with 32 at Ohio University, my friends and colleagues from other institutions all rave about our Black Alumni Reunion because we have one of the best in the country, and I'm proud to say that. In 2019, I said this was a labor of love, and it truly is. I could not do this work alone. A bar planning committee comprised of 35 extraordinary Ohio graduates. Each and every one of them I have known for the past 20 to 32 years. They're staff members, they're students, they represent 6 decades of Bobcats. And these folks work with me and my bar coordinator, Annette Talbert. She's standing in the back. She really thought I couldn't give a short joke. Last time she was sitting here and I said, stand up, Annette. Now she stood in the back so I could leave her alone. All right, Annette, good job. But we couldn't do it without Annette Talbert, University Communication and Marketing, other Alumni Association and advancement staff. We couldn't do this without bringing you a special weekend of fellowship activities. Please refer to your printed program for a complete listing of the committee members whose undying energy, wise counsel, and wonderful sense of humor have been greatly appreciated. Would members of the Black Alumni Reunion Planning Committee please stand and be recognized? Thank you so much for all you do for Ohio University.
Thanks, Ty, and thanks to the committee. Every university and college can boast loyal alumni, but it doesn't take long to see that our Ohio University holds a unique place in the hearts of its graduates. I have had the privilege of meeting many of you over the years, and you've continuously demonstrated the tremendous value that alumni and friends bring to this incredible community. You make a difference. I am proud to be part of the Ohio University family, and I hope you have a wonderful Black Alumni Reunion weekend. Thank you. And turn it over to Del.
Thank you, Ty. And Jen, as Ashley mentioned, I'm Del Robinson, your co-host for this evening. Now I take a few moments to introduce some of the other special Ohio University guests who've joined us this evening. Ohio University President Hugh Sherman and his wife, Nikki Sherman. I have a few groups of guests to introduce, and I ask that they stand as they are mentioned. Please hold your applause until they are all standing. First, members and student members of the University Board of Trustees. Trustee and Emeriti trustees of the Ohio University Foundation. Members of the Alumni Association Board of Directors. the university executive officers, deans from the Athens and regional campuses, faculty, staff, administrators, emeriti faculty, including our own Dr. Francine Childs, and members of Ohio's many multicultural student organizations. Student scholarship recipients, including our urban scholars. And last, but certainly not least, staff from the Ohio University Advancement, who have worked so hard to bring this incredible evening together. Now let us pause for a moment of silence to remember the alumni, faculty, administrators, staff, and friends of Ohio University who've passed since our 2019 Black Alumni Reunion. Please refer to the list on your printed program as we honor our fellow Black alumni and friends with a moment of silent remembrance. Thank you. It is now my pleasure to introduce 1967 Ohio University alumna Connie Lawson Davis, who will lead us in a special invocation.
Thank you, Dell. Good evening. May we bow our heads, please. Dear God, enlighten what's dark in us, strengthen what's weak in us, bind what's bruised in us, mend what's broken in us, heal what's sick in us, and lastly, restore whatever peace and love have died in us. We come this evening, dear Heavenly Father, to thank you for bringing us together, for allowing us to see each other just one more time. We praise you and thank you for your glory, for your grace and your mercy. And we ask that as we prepare to dine together, that you would bless this food that we're about to receive for the nourishment of our bodies and the hands that prepared it and those that serve it. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay. We have a special presentation for you this evening. I would like for you to join me in welcoming Vibrancy Theater to perform the Black National Anthem. As they come to the stage, would you please stand?
Good evening. My name is Clarissa Raybon. I am the co-executive producer, artistic director of Vibrancy Theater. Through conscious, inclusive, and ethical staging of new and reimagined classics, Vibrancy Theater aims to explore major themes of humanity that challenge the dominant narrative. We hope to build community with other marginalized groups through explicit anti-racist procedures and practices. This enables us to share a myriad of unique and culturally relevant theater reflective of the world we live in and of the world we've been dreaming of. Vibrancy Theater promotes BIPOC artists to give students of color an authentic outlet for creative expression. You can find us at vibrancytheater.com and on the Black Alumni Reunion giving site. Thank you for your support of Vibrancy Theater. Now, please join Reese Carr, Kay Collins, and Will Harrington as we sing the Black National Anthem.
liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Thank you. It is now my pleasure It is now time to enjoy our meal together. Staff will come to your table to invite you to visit. Have a lovely dinner.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will continue with our program. And before I bring Del Robinson, the co-master of ceremony, back to stage, I'd like us to give it up once again for the Columbus Urban Jazz Coalition. Not only does the Bobcat represent the 70s group, but I do want to say, but I do want to say that as I walk through the room and in the lobby, everyone has been raving about you all. So, thank you.
As you finish your meal, we will continue tonight's program with the presentation of 2 special awards. These awards recognize the legacies and accomplishments of extraordinary individuals who have made remarkable contributions to the Ohio community. Both of tonight's honorees have distinguished themselves through the commitment and involvement with Ohio's first and finest university. Jean Hairston Jenkins will present our first Ebony Bobcat Network Trailblazer Award this evening. She earned a bachelor's degree from the Patton College of Education in 1978. A second 22 Trailblazer Award will be presented by Fraser Smith. Jean?
Thank you, Dale. And I must say, he gave me a few extra years. My degree was earned in '68, so I'm happy to be here this evening. And so good evening again, and thank you to all my fellow Black alumni who have joined us here tonight to celebrate Ohio University's Black heritage, its past, its present, and its future. The Ebony Bobcat Network was established in 2010 and has become an official network of the Ohio University Alumni Association. Our mission is to encourage and support full participation in alumni activities, to honor past, present, and future Bobcats of color, and to provide financial support to the Urban Scholars Program. And not only to the Urban Scholars Program, but I need to let you know that I'm also the proud mother of an OU graduate, 92 and 96, and the grandmother of an OU graduate, 2013. So I did want to give them a shout out. They're not here this evening, but they are watching virtually. And I also want to recognize some of my Pittsburgh friends who are here this evening too. It was to this end that the EBN Trailblazer Award was established in 2012. The first such award was presented in August 2012 to Ohio University President and alumnus Roderick J. McDavis. And I know we all remember Rod, who happened to have been a classmate. And so it was with great pleasure that I present the first of the 2022 Trailblazer Awards. Tonight we are going to honor former Ohio University staff member and definitely a Ebony Bobcat, Mr. Elmore Mo Banton. And I want you just to go back in the past with me for a minute. 17 years old, coming on OU's campus from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, having been myself a track person and just crowned the inner city queen of the track, what they call the inner city track meet at that time in Pittsburgh. And so the first person I see on campus is the NCAA winner, Mo Banton. So you know, 17 years old, track person, it was exciting, okay? And so I just needed you to know that, okay? Mr. Banton is a trailblazer in many ways. He won the NCAA Division I Men's Cross Country Championship in 1964. That was that year. And he was 50 yards ahead of his closest rival. Okay? He was the first NCAA cross-country champion at Ohio. And his hire marked another first for Ohio University. He became the first African-American head coach of any Bobcat sport. He went on to coach the cross-country and track and field teams at Ohio University for 23 years. And during that time, those 23 years, he won 20 Coach of the Year honors. Mo guided the Bobcats to 10 MAC titles, 14 All-Ohio championships, and 6 Central Collegiate crowns. We're going to see a slideshow now celebrating his life story. Oh, that's George's. Can they advance a little bit? Just keep going. Okay. All right. We're going to keep going. Okay. Okay. So tonight, and we'll watch that video later, the EBN Network is proud to present our Trailblazer Award to Mo. The award inscription reads, the Ohio University Ebony Bobcat Network Trailblazer Award presented to Elmore Mo Banton for his significant contributions to Ohio University as a student, athlete, and coach. We salute his legacy as the first African-American to coach a major sport at Ohio University as the head coach of track and field, and his induction into the Ohio University Sports Hall of Fame. We further recognize his service to the community as a student mentor throughout his life. Presented at the 2022 Black Alumni Reunion, Athens, Ohio, Friday, September 16th, 2022. Mo, Mr. Banton, would you please join me on stage?
Am I allowed to talk?
Yeah.
Okay. Jean didn't tell you all of it. She broke my heart. Because you know, I thought I was hot stuff, you know. I was told I had as much time as I wanted, so I'm going to take some time. Because I'm coming back here in October for the Hall of Fame induction of the team that I was a team member of, and they only gave me 2 minutes. I have never said anything in my life in 2 minutes. So I'm going to try to bore you just for a few minutes, because there's people I would like to thank that had a lot to do with my career, and I am ever grateful for it. First, I'd like to thank the Ebony Bobcat Network for this award. I am deeply, deeply honored, let me tell you, deeply honored. I also would like to thank my wife, Mary, for putting up with a track coach, because track coach is never home, always on the road from September to June, and she put up with me. Of course, he said I never won a championship till I married her, so she takes all the credit for the championships that we won. I need to thank a number of people, but first and foremost, I have to thank the young men and women I had the most pleasure ever in my life of coaching here at Ohio University. Without their dedication, none of this would have been possible. So I know a lot of my Bobcats are here. Stand up, will you please? Stand up, track people, stand up. Every one of you guys mean a lot to me. I hope you know that. Of course, I won't remember your name when we get outside, but the seniors used to tell the freshmen when they came in, Coach Banton won't know your name till you're a senior, because he doesn't remember names very good. But I remember times and distances, okay? I remember jumps and heights. I remember throwing. I remember all that kind of crap. I got a brain on that one, right? In fact, I just want to give a shout out to the 1994 4x1 relay team that still holds the MAC record, and two of them are sitting back there, still hold the MAC record. Okay. Okay, I want to thank a few people that had something to do with my career. I got to go back to LA, that's Lower Akron. I lived about a mile from school. This is in about the 5th grade. And there was this kid, Junior Thornton, used to chase me home every day. I was pretty good because he never caught my butt. But my mother said, you've got to stand and fight one day. So one day, he's chasing me. I knew he couldn't catch me, but I stopped. He beat the crap out of me. My next introduction to running was in high school with Coach Sickford. He was the basketball coach. I thought I was a basketball player at one time. I never saw a shot I didn't like, and that's the reason my basketball career didn't live long enough, you know. But Coach Sickford was a basketball and cross-country coach, and at Central at that time, if you didn't play football, you had to run cross-country. But I wasn't taking cross-country serious. You know, I just go out there and run a couple laps, go run the meets, come back and play basketball. And that brings me to my next person. A young man by the name of Ali Daoud, a friend of mine. I'm going into my senior year. I'm not getting no scholarship offers to play basketball, because there wasn't nobody that can't shoot but 2%, you know. So he says, Mo, he says, you know, you could really be good if you practiced. I mean, really practice. I said, you think so? Yeah, I think you could win a scholarship, man. I said, so I went home that summer. I lived on Bluff Street, okay? And we lived at the top of this hill. It was about steep like this. So every Monday and Tuesday, I run up that hill for 16 or 20 times, jog down the other side, come back up, go back down. And on Monday, I think that was Tuesday and Thursday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'd go out and run a distance. I didn't know what I was doing, you know, I just get in shape. But that paid off because I finished 2nd in the city, 2nd in the district, and then 8th in the state. And that was pretty good. And next person that comes into my life is Mel Brote, the coach at Bowling Green University. I was going to Bowling Green, okay? I had my heart set on going to Bowling Green because my buddies from LA, Lower Akron, were all there. Nate Thurman, Billy Sparks, Elijah Chapman, that bunch of guys was from my neighborhood, my block, my area of the city, you know? And I wanted to go to Bowling Green. And so, as it turns out, Mel Brote didn't have any more scholarship money left. When it got to me, you know, he said, oh, Mo, I can't wait, but you come, we'll give you some. I said, well, okay, I go back home. That's after I made my visit. And a couple of days later, I get a call from, hello, this is Dan Huntsman from Ohio University. I just want to tell you that I think you can come down here and be part of our team, you know. We got a real good team. He didn't have to tell me that because I already knew he had a good team, okay? But he told me that anyway, you know. And I said, well, that sounds good, Coach. I said, well, can you help, you know, give me some money? He said, well, look here, I can give you a board job and book scholarship. Okay, I'm coming, you know. So Mel Brote is the reason I came to Ohio University, okay, first. So I hadn't seen Ohio University, okay? And a friend of mine is going to drive me down, because we didn't have no car. And he comes down by Marietta and over, then come down to Columbus and down, goes there, and back, that's 1962, okay? I'm coming down for pre-college, start a cross-country season, you know. I'm all excited, got my one suitcase, you know. That's all I had was one suitcase, like a lot of you had one suitcase when you came. And, you know, today they got 5 truckloads and stuff, but he comes over 550. You guys know what 550 is, and then y'all know 550 on it? I said, God, what have I gotten myself into? This is Appalachia. This is worse than LA, Lower Akron. And I'm going like, anyway, I get on campus, I said, whoa, this is nice. I think I can live here. Anyway, so Stan Huntsman did that, and that 64 team that he mentioned was fantastic. We won the All-Ohio, won the Mid-American Conference, the Central Collegiate, and we was 3rd in the NCAA. We should have won the national championship. If Donnell Mitchell doesn't get sick the week before that, we win the national championship. And that team's going into the Hall of Fame in homecoming weekend. And I never cut practice but once. And we were going to do this workout, and Coach always liked to do people's favorite workout. So we had a guy named Larry Smith on the team from East Tech. And Larry was a great guy, great team captain. And he loved to take long runs. He was a great long distance runner. At that time, he was one of the best marathoners in the United States. So that tells you how good he was, okay? And Donnell and I got all excited that we're going to take Larry on today. We're going to beat him in this workout, okay? And we run out to Albany, run out to Albany, go around and come back, right? So we start on our way. And we're going at a pretty good clip, you know. I'm trying to keep up, you know, Mitch and I, because this is, me and Mitch didn't like nothing over 6 miles, okay? We're talking about 12 here, you know? And we get around up there, and you did this little turn, and came through a neighbor and come back, you know. And Larry looks at us, and he said, we're going to pick up the pace now. Mitch looked at me, and I looked at Mitch. I don't think so, man. We start walking. You guys, track guys, that's the only time I cut a workout now. And so Mitch and I are walking, and this farmer comes along in a truck. He lets us hop on the back. So we come on down, there used to be a hill there, come on down on the Richland Avenue, and we see Smitty down there. And we say, hey, let us off. So we go flying down the street. We pass Smitty, we're flying. We run into the stadium. The men's locker room was the track locker room was right there on the corner there. We ran, because we're college students, so we're kind of smart. We run in and put water all over us on our shirt like we've been running, you know. And we come out there, we're waiting for him to come in. He comes in, he says, you guys can't beat me. What did you guys do? Hey, man, we ran the whole thing just like you did, man. Oh, no, you couldn't have. No, you didn't. About that time, Stan, that was the coach, Stan Humphreys pulls in, and he says, and Larry goes running up to him, because Larry had these big eyes, man. They get really big, man. He says, Coach, I don't know what Mitch and Mo did, but they can't beat me. He said, I know. I saw him jump off that truck down there. And you know what we did? Do you know what we did? We went and ran that, and he followed us in his car right then and there. And that cured me of ever cheating in another workout for the rest of my life. I'd like to thank Al Campbell, the track coach at Akron University. I was working on my master's degree at Akron, and I had him for a class. He was a track coach at Akron University, and he says to me one day after class, he says, Mo, would you like to do some coaching? I said, yeah, I would love to do some coaching. Yeah, I'll do that. So he gave me the responsibility of the cross-country team, and we did pretty good. We qualified for Division II Nationals twice, and we did a pretty good job. So I did that from 1975 to 1980. And then in 1980, Jerry Reese calls me on the phone. At that time, he was the assistant director of admissions at Ohio University. And he calls me on the phone, and he was a good friend of mine and Stan Huntsman's at the time. He says, Mo, he says, the coach just been fired down here. Are you interested in the job? I said, are you kidding me? Of course I'm interested in the job. He says, well, get your application and do this. I'm going to call Stan. Stan was down coaching at Tennessee. And Stan's going to give you a great recommendation. You don't even have to worry about it, you know, and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, making the long story short, I come down, I get the interview. Harold McElhaney decides to hire a black man to coach at Ohio University as the first black coach at Ohio University. A black man who only had 5 years experience. And so I'm at home in LA, Lower Akron, packing. I had more than one bag now. Packing my bags to come down, and I get a call from a kid working on the post. You know about those kids that work on the post, man. So he called me, he said, Coach, man, I'd like to talk to you if I could for a minute. I said, sure, what can I do for you? He says, well, his first question was, how does it feel to be the first black head coach of any sport at Ohio University? And I was numb. I said to myself, I said, oh my God, please don't let me mess this stuff up because I need you more than ever now. I'm going down there, I'm gonna try to recruit kids, do this, do that. I need all the help I can get. So God makes things happen, let me tell you. So I get the job, right? I'm here, I'm ready to go, I'm excited. I got my first cross-country team. We're at the MAC championships, and we finished dead last. So Matt comes over, Matt McElhaney came over to me, he says, Mo, he puts his arm around me, because he saw I was depressed. I mean, I was depressed, last place, my God. What am I doing? What am I doing here? He says, I told you it wouldn't be easy. I looked at him and said, well, you didn't tell me it's gonna be this damn hard, So, to make a long story short, we never finished last again. In 1986, I took over the women's team. The women's coach just got fired. It was late in the summer. And Harold McElhaney called me in his office. He says, Mo, I don't have time to find another coach. I want you to take over the women's program for 1 year. Okay. All right, I'll do it. I went back to my office. I said to my office, I said, what the heck am I going to do with some women? I said, God, help me again. I need a lot of help here, I said, okay, I'll treat them just like I do the men. I'll work them to death, just like I do the men, And I said, and we'll see if they want to come back for more. And they want to come back for more, then we'll be great, So that's kind of what I did. And those women took to that right away. It was uncanny. In 1989, we had a great women's cross-country team here. We were too good to be good. And I think we thought we were good too. And we went to this meet and we finished third. It was a big meet, but we finished third. And they gave out these big old trophies, first, second, third, big ones. And so we rode back on the bus, everybody, we were all sad, So that Monday, I take the trophy, I take it over to the stadium. And we used to stretch out underneath the stadium under there, stretch out before we get into our workouts. I took the trophy, I said, Jenny Crane, great young lady from Wisconsin. I said, Jenny, run all the way up the top of those stairs. She looks at me, she takes the trophy, she runs all the way up there. So everybody step back. I said, now throw that thing down here as hard as you can, okay? She takes that thing, she throws it down there, breaks something about 6 pieces. I said, don't you guys ever bring back another second or third place trophy again. They went crazy. Yeah, coach, yeah. It shocked me, They were like, yeah. Nobody touched us the rest of the year because they kept saying, we don't want no more second place trophies. We don't want no more second place trophies. So they did, oh man, that was great. That was a great year. Then they went on to win 6 straight MAC championships, so that's pretty good. I'm about ready to shut up. I'm almost done. I'm about ready to shut up. I tried during my coaching career to instill 3 words to my kids. And the 3 words were magic, team, and pride. Magic meant making a greater individual commitment. Because without commitment, and I'm talking about 100% commitment, not cutting workouts, 100% commitment, not 50%, not 90%, 100% commitment. Because you can't do anything without it. Team, together, everyone achieves more as a team. As a team, we can do many things, but as individuals, we can't accomplish as much. We got to be a team, so we practice that. Third word, pride. The P in pride stood for positive mental attitude. The glass is always half filled. It is never half empty. Respect. Respect your teammates, respect the team you're running against, respect your professors, respect everybody you come in, respect your elders, and you better respect me, okay? I was for intensity. Do everything with intense. Be intense about what you do. D is for discipline, and the E is my favorite word ever invented, enthusiasm. Because you gotta have enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is contagious. And you get a group of people and you get them enthused about something, you can conquer anything. And that's what I tried to instill. Again, I would like to thank the Ebony Bobcat Network for this honor that I deeply appreciate. I got one last request. Please bring back men's track.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to break my own rule and fill you in on something. I was introduced earlier as just Fraser Smith. Well, I just want you guys to know that I'm a 1991 graduate of the Scripps School of Journalism here at Ohio University. I earned my master's degree here, and then I joined the faculty. I was on the faculty for 3 or 4 years before I went back into the business at the Dayton Daily News. So I just wanted to fill in a blank or two to let you know that there's a little more to me than just being Fraser Smith. Because of the lateness of the hour, I will cut my 3-hour presentation down to a couple of minutes. I was told to keep it to 2 minutes, but I can't do that because, like Mo, my father was, late father was a Baptist minister. Yeah, that's right. It gets better. My late grandfather was a Methodist minister. See, so, you know. And my late mother was a Sunday school teacher for 25 years, so I can talk. But thank you, Mo. Thank you, Dell, Jean. It is my pleasure now to present our second 2022 Trailblazer Award. Tonight we honor two-time Ohio University alumnus and former Ohio University staff member George Reed. Mr. Reed, and he always used to greet me, "What's up, Brother Frazier?" That's how he talked. He was like, George was 6'7", and cut like a piece of granite, and had the nicest, softest demeanor that you'd ever want to know. We were here, my wife and I brought George's wife and his 2 boys to campus for this reunion, and George will be proud of his wife, Carla. She worked tirelessly. She set up meetings with the football coaches to get her oldest son, Quinn, a meeting with the football team. because George would have played football, but his mother didn't want him to get hurt, so he played basketball instead. And so, thank goodness he did. And so we walk into the first place, the South Tower over at Peden Stadium. And we're talking, and Quinn's putting on helmets, and there's a guy sitting in the chair, older gentleman, and he's listening to this conversation. And he says, well, where are you guys from? And we told him, and he says, I remember George. I remember George. I was here back when he was here, and all I remember is that George used to clean those backboards of those rebounds. And that was his remembrance of George Reed. And so the underlying message I want to leave with you guys tonight is the tie that binds. The tie that binds. When you are a trailblazer, we all think of, we tend to think of Harriet Tubman when we talk about trailblazers. But if you think about what a trailblazer really is and really does, a trailblazer, they don't talk about what they do. They just do it. Everybody else sort of sits back and they go, wow, look at Harriet Tubman. Wow, look at Mo. Wow, look at this one. Look at that one. Look at what they're doing. The trailblazer doesn't have time to sit around and admire their own work. They simply keep moving forward and opening doors and setting paths for other people to follow. And that's what George was. He was a trailblazer who did just that. Toni Morrison wrote a work once. It was called The Work You Do, the Person You Are, the tie that binds. This is an excerpt from her essay, The Work You Do, the Person You Are. And I knew that if I told my mother how unhappy I was, she would tell me to quit. Then one day, alone in the kitchen with my father, I let drop a few whines about the job. I gave him details, examples of what troubled me, yet although he listened intently, I saw no sympathy in his eyes. No, oh, you poor little thing. Perhaps he understood that what I wanted was a solution to the job, not an escape from it. In any case, he put down his cup of coffee and said, listen, you don't live there, you live here with your people. Go to work, get your money, and come on home. That was what he said, and this is what I heard, Toni Morrison wrote. 1, whatever the work is, do it well, not for the boss, but for yourself. And I'm directing this now at Quinn and Devin, George's 2 sons. Whatever the work is, do it well, not for the boss, not for the teacher, not for the coach, but for yourself. Number 2, you make the job, it doesn't make you. You make the job, it doesn't make you. And as a trailblazer, and I just confirmed this with Carla a little while ago because they moved to Los Angeles and my wife and I are still in Cincinnati with our 2 boys and who are adults now. And so I could only make connections over the phone and through emails and things like that. And so I confirmed it tonight. I had an inkling suspicion that this was true, and it really was. I said, Carla, did George ever talk about the job at home? And she said, no. That was a rule of the house. You make the job, it doesn't make you. And then number 3, your real life is with us, your family. So no matter what you do in life, Quinn and Devin, your real life is with your family. Finally, number 4, you are not the work you do, you're the person you are. You're not the work you do, you're the person that you are. And that's what I want to leave you with when talking about my friend George. who was a special kind of person. You know, he was funny. I met George while I was here. He used to come visit me over in Scripps. I had an office in old Scripps Hall, which has now been taken over by another program, and the Scripps School of Journalism is in Schoonover. Old Baker. George used to come over and we'd talk, and he trusted me enough to look at some of the things he wrote, and I would edit them and clarify them for him. And he began to talk about this young woman that he had eyes for. And her name was Carla. The ties that bind. And it's funny that he told me that because Carla was one of the first students that I met when I started teaching here at the university. She's a former student of mine, former journalism student. And her mother had brought her to the campus to take a look around. And her mother charged me with taking care of Carla. The ties that bind. Little did I know that that conversation with Carla's mother would last more than 35 years. She's the daughter I never had. George earned his Bachelor's of General Studies from Ohio University in 1989 and his Master's of Science in Physical Education from the university in 1991. He had a successful career here playing basketball, and he and I used to mix it up on the basketball court. And when we were on the same teams together, we never lost. George, you know, I played him one-on-one one time over at the Convo. And I got too close to him, and I was, caught myself playing defense. He swung his elbow and caught me right here and split my lip. I said, man, you must have been hell on that basketball court, George. Oh, I'm sorry, Brother Frazier, I didn't mean that. I said, I know, no problem. He was recruited to work for Ohio University's Alumni Association in July of '91. For the association, he oversaw major alumni initiatives and is credited with making the Black Alumni Reunion an official signature event. He moved on to a successful fundraising career. He worked at Florida State University in Tallahassee. And he would, whenever he was on the road flying around collecting checks, he'd stop at the house and visit. One night he surprised me. I was the news editor at the Dayton Daily and got a phone call from the security desk. There's this guy down here who wants to see you. So I go downstairs, get off the elevator, and who's standing in the lobby but George? He was on his way to Notre Dame to pick up some more checks at a football game. That man, he could do his job. He was a fundraiser, rain and muddy. Santa Claus delivers gifts, George would take them from people. He also worked in the development office at American University in Washington, D.C., where Helen and I and our two boys would go visit with them in Silver Spring, Maryland, and tried to go see some fireworks once and almost drowned in a rainstorm. He worked at Syracuse University, Syracuse, and we went up there to visit him, gave them a night off when Quinn and Devin were babies, gave them a night out on the town, and George rewarded us with tickets to the Carrier Dome. We took our two sons, and they were, of course, their eyes were this big. You see the Carrier Dome on TV, and when you get to see it in real life, it's 30,000 people at a college basketball game. It's awesome to see. And then they finally went to the University of Southern California in Los Angeles, where George was the assistant vice president for campus initiatives. One of the last conversations I had with George was just shortly before he passed away. It was Father's Day. And we had a brief conversation on the phone because George I get the feeling he was kind of practicing for fatherhood with our two sons, Aaron and Adrian. We'd bring them to Carla and George in Silver Spring, and George he spent one day, because my wife got upset about this, he spent one day, we couldn't even leave the house because George was playing a video football game with Adrian, our youngest. And they sat there on the couch and played for hours, talking to each other, just talk about football and, all this kind of stuff, just loved each other. They came when they were living in Cincinnati, we went to the Labor Day fireworks, and I don't know why George did this. I told him not to. He picked up our oldest son, Aaron, who was, 8 or 9 at the time, and put him on his shoulder so he could see the fireworks. When Aaron got off his shoulders, George looked at me and said, "Man, how much does your son weigh?" And I told him, I said, "George, I told you not to do that. I won't even do that." But sadly, George passed away on July 31st, 2015. He's survived by his wife, Carla, whom he met here at the university. The ties that bind. They met at the university. I walked her father down the aisle. He was in a wheelchair. Our two sons were in their wedding. We've been together for a long time. We're the godparents of Quinn and Devin. And so now I want you to enjoy this special slideshow celebrating the life of a very, very positive role model, father, and trailblazer, George Reed. I don't know, I think it was just a slideshow. There's George doing some basketball. He's from Philadelphia, the home of a lot of top-notch players. And his high school team was one of the world beaters in the city at the time when he was there. And those are his two boys who are now 6'4" and 6'7". My goodness. And they eat like it too, when they're hungry. And so tonight, the Ohio University Ebony Bobcat Network, the tie that binds. We're here again, full circle. I met Carla in 1991 as a faculty member. She was a student of mine, and here we are, 2022, here again to celebrate George and the football team taking an interest in her son, the ties that bind. You should have seen that yesterday. They welcomed George, they welcomed Quinn like he'd been here forever. First time they laid eyes on him. The tie that binds. This is a special place. The award inscription reads, and you all have heard it, I'll read it again. The Ohio University Ebony Bobcat Network Trailblazer Award, presented to George Reed for his significant contributions to Ohio University and society as an OU student athlete, higher education professional, diversity and inclusion advocate, a champion of alumni engagement. We honor George as he served as a leader and advocate for the Ohio University Black Alumni Reunion, presented posthumously at the 2022 Black Alumni Reunion in Athens, Ohio on this day, Friday, September 16, 2022. His wife, my daughter, will accept the award. Carla, come up here.
say first?
You all look so amazing tonight. Thank you for coming.
Okay. Did you want to say something? Go ahead. That's okay. You want to say something?
I mean, it's awesome being here. The first time I've ever been here. I always wanted to be here. I got to see the football field and at Cincinnati. I was a Cincinnati fan. And Bengals, yeah.
I mean, Bengals fan.
Yeah.
And yeah. Well, I can't thank you enough for this wonderful honor and honoring George, his memory, the work. He would be so proud to see all of you here today because you are his legacy. You are his legacy. He wanted to see this event endure because he knew that we mattered and that we had a place here at Ohio University. He loved Ohio University. He was a Bobcat through and through. For him to come from Philadelphia, inner city Philly, North Philly, you guys have heard of North Philly, to come all the way to OU, this was paradise for him because he wanted an escape. I know some of you are like, but it really was an escape for him, and he found family here and ties that bind. Dr. Childs is here. She's just, she meant so much to George and to me. All the professors here, all the faculty, the alumni staff, because that's where George started and his love for engaging alumni. And he traveled all over Ohio to bring alums back, especially alums like Brandon Smith. Where are you? Stand up, Brandon. Brandon, ever since George died, Brandon has worked tirelessly to have Ohio University recognize the contributions that he made to this university. For 7 years, this man has worked to make this moment happen. So that tells you a little bit about George, the amount of love, loyalty that he put into relationships that he made all over the country, and no matter what institution he was working with. For his service, the University of Southern California put on his service. It was in a chapel on campus. The band came out and played. So that's how much of an impact he had everywhere he went. But his heart was always here at Ohio University. He loved you all. Please keep coming back to the Black Alumni Reunion. Please keep supporting Black students. He wants you to be here. He wants you to love here. He wants you to bring your students here, your kids here, so that they can come here and feel the love that he felt. This is it's just so beautiful to see this and to have George's sons really experience the love that he felt here and how he felt like part of a family. You're our family. You'll always be our family. And just thank you so much. Thank you so much. This way. No, he wants to take a picture of us. This way? Go.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Frazier, for that moving tribute. Thank you, Del and Mo. It's now my pleasure to present our, excuse me. Sorry, I'm on the wrong page. I need some music while I find the right page. All right. Thank you, Frazier, for your moving tribute. Thank you to the Ebony Bobcat Network for the presentation of the Trailblazer Awards, and congratulations, Mo, George, and your families. It's now my honor to introduce the phenomenal Dr. Patricia A. Ackerman, a 1966 alumna of the College of Arts and Sciences, who will be recognizing one more special guest this evening. Dr. Ackerman.
Good evening, Ebony Bobcats and friends. Ironically, no matter how successful one may become in life, or how noteworthy your accomplishments may be, regardless of who holds you in high esteem, there is always someone in the recesses of your past who knew you before the fact. In the case of Dr. Michelle Curtis Pinnock, tonight, I am someone who knew her when. We first met decades ago, living down the hall from each other on 2nd Front North in Lindley Hall. For some of you, I'm sure that is ancient history because you never knew that Lindley was a dorm. Be that as it may, Michelle and I often had meals together in the dining hall, as most of the Black girls typically sat together in the dining hall. Why? Of the 400 Lindley Lovelies, no more than 20 were African Americans in our day. Away from home, on our own for the first time, all we had was each other and our hopes and dreams for the future. One of the dreams Michelle and I shared was to become members of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. We were proud to become active members of the Tidels together. That was the interest group that preceded the chartering of Epsilon Iota as the first Black Greek sorority at OU. But our Delta dreams did not become reality until much later. Both of us graduated from OU and set about living our lives as educators. Michelle eventually left Ohio, but lived and worked in Kansas and Pennsylvania before settling in Washington, D.C. Along the way, she served in both K-12 and higher education as an instructor, counselor, and administrator. Having earned a terminal degree in higher education, Dr. Pinnock's interest then pivoted to public service, where she became an independent consultant before spending 25 years as a trainer and program manager for FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Unsurprisingly, teaching and mentorship have always been at the core of who she is. And her volunteer activities with For the Love of Children and the Metropolitan Delta Adult Literacy Council reflect that reality. Throughout her stellar career, Michelle and I had no contact. But because you cannot outrun your instincts, we reconnected unexpectedly at a national Delta event in Washington, D.C. She was serving on the board of DREF, the Delta Foundation, and I attended their presentation during Delta Days at the nation's capital. After an ironic but poignant fancy meeting you here moment, as active members of DST, we exchanged contact information and vowed to stay in touch. Better than that, I encouraged her to attend BAR later that year, and she did. It was a glorious weekend where she revisited Lindley Hall and met the professor whose office was once her room. While I can take no credit whatsoever for the inspiration behind the establishment of the Dr. Michelle Curtis Pennock Endowed Scholarship, I am quite content to be somebody who simply knew her when. Congratulations, Dr. Pennock, soror, friend. The examples you have set are not only powerful and worthy of emulation, but distinguish you as most deserving of tonight's very special recognition. Dr. Pennock, please join me on the stage.
Once again, I'll say good evening. I am honored for this recognition. What I want to say is that education is the beginning, particularly early childhood education. Our system at the moment is in disarray. We need to step forward and ask young people to become teachers. Not only to become teachers, but to stay in the profession and lead young people through adulthood to become contributing members of our community. I thank you all. Remember, education is the key. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ackerman and Dr. Curtis Pennock. What an amazing opportunity it has been for us to honor 3 individuals who have left lasting legacies at Ohio University and beyond. Please join me now in raising your glass to tonight's honorees. To the legacies of Mo Banton, George Reed, and Dr. Michelle Curtis Pennock, here's to all that you have done for Ohio University and for our Black alumni community. Here's to each of you and to all of us. Cheers. Thank you. Ty.
Thank you.
Hello again. It's my great honor to introduce tonight's keynote speaker, Dorian Spence. Dorian and I go way back when he was an undergraduate student, and I often had many interactions with him. Dorian serves as Vice President of Strategy and Programs at the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law. He's responsible for developing and implementing the organization's strategic plan to foster institution-wide synergy, collaboration, and mutual accountability. A proud Cincinnati native, Dorian earned his undergraduate degree from Ohio University is a committed member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated and holds a JD from Wake Forest University School of Law. He's a member in good standing of the Maryland State Bar and the District of Columbia Bar and has litigated numerous cases in federal and state courts. He has made numerous media appearances and frequently speaks on a wide range of racial justice issues. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Dorian Spence.
Good evening. What's going on, Ohio University? I didn't know y'all were going to play me up. That's kind of dope. The Black Alumni Reunion, right? There's nothing, absolutely nothing like coming back to Athens for the Black Alumni Reunion. First of all, before I get started, I feel a little set up coming behind so many OU legends this evening because they're a whole lot better than I'm going to be. So let's lower the expectations a little bit right now. Second, I want to take a moment to give love and honor to a couple of people in the room. Daryl Robinson, Jen Bowie, and the rest of your committee for pulling together this Black Alumni Reunion. Planning and execution is something that is oftentimes a thankless task. So on behalf of everyone in this room, I want to thank you all and your committee for pulling this together. It's been a beautiful, beautiful weekend thus far. And in that same vein, I want to take a moment to love and honor my dear brother, Ty Carr. Brother Carr was such an anchor for us while I was down here at Ohio University, and I thank you for your leadership, brother. I thank you for your kindness. And this place is a better place because you're here. And I mean that, brother. And to my sister and classmate, Aya Ferguson, who I consider such a dear friend, I love and honor you too. You are such a wonderful human being. She's the kind of human being that when she calls, you don't only pick up, you pick up with what do you need, and the answer is yes. Love and light to you, sister, because you shine so bright and you deserve every good thing that's coming your way. I love you dearly. So I want to start tonight expressing a spirit of gratitude, and not the spirit of gratitude that you get when you're at the bar and your friend reaches for his credit card, you reach for your credit card, he gets it out first, so you're like, all right, cool, you got it. But a deep sense of gratitude, right? The sense of gratitude that you feel in your core, the sense of gratitude that comes from belonging, that can only bloom from well-nourished roots. The gratitude you can only feel when you think of and experience home. I feel that sense of gratitude today just as much as I did when I was a student down here at Ohio University from September 5th, 2002 through June 10th, 2006. And as a student, I always had that feeling that wherever I launched into the world, this place would always be my home. And I distinctly remember after graduation, packing up my 94 beige Ford Taurus to take Route 32 back to Cincinnati, Ohio. And somewhere around that Jackson County line, I had a conversation with myself because I was in the car by myself. And yes, I did talk to myself, and I'm good with that. But somewhere around that Jackson County line, I vowed to myself to be one of the many OU alums who would go off and do something meaningful with my life, something of value with my career. And I think about that commitment often. I wanted to be the kind of alumni who would one day return and have something of value to say to the people down here. And I want to be clear about that commitment and that vow I made to myself, because it wasn't to come back and boast or brag about my professional accolades or to share litigation stories or the work that I do or what have you, but I wanted to be able to come back to have the opportunity to share how much this place poured into me, how much it loved on me, how much it fed me, how much it nourished me. So now that I have this opportunity to share that with you, bear with me because I'm gracious, I'm humbled, I'm a bit overwhelmed, but indulge me on that. And I know we're here to celebrate, but I've never given a life speech in my life. So roll with me on this. So as family, I want to speak honestly and clearly from my walk through my lens, which I experienced this place, Ohio University down here in these hills in Athens, Ohio. And hopefully, from the specificity of my walk, it serves a little something in you. I currently serve as the Vice President of Strategy and Programs at the Lawyers Committee in DC, and we're a racial justice organization. We use the rule of law to make the promises of democracy real. For communities of color broadly, but for Black communities specifically. I gave the name of my organization, but I describe the work as racial justice, even though civil rights is in the title. And I think it's important that we distinguish the two. See, all racial justice work is civil rights work, but not all civil rights work is racial justice work. You follow? As a racial justice lawyer, I am called to defend Black communities from injustices, to work arm in arm with them to demand a seat at the table, to hold federal and local powers accountable when they do wrong. As a racial justice lawyer, I am called to demand this country to keep its promises to Black communities because justice demands that I do so. So through this work, I've had the opportunity to travel to the back roads of North Carolina to demand that Black communities are able to elect candidates of their choice and have access to the ballot. I've worked with Black farmers in Georgia in a fight against the USDA to hold them accountable for decades of discrimination. I've had the privilege of working with communities in the bayous of southern Louisiana, hand in hand with them, just fighting to have clean air to breathe and clean water to drink. I have the honor of meeting with communities in church basements in Alabama, in cornfields in Georgia, on street corners in Charlotte, North Carolina, and on porches in Mississippi. I consider my work critically important, especially at this time in this political environment, in this racial environment. But more than that, I consider myself deeply fortunate to be able to get up and work for Black communities each and every day of my career. But beyond that, I stand before you today to share with you that I would not be who I am, I wouldn't be doing what I do, but for my time here at Ohio University. These bricks are so foundational to the core of who I am that I don't know who I would be without my time down here. So what is it about this place, from our experience, that calls us back down here, back home every couple of years? And I thought long and hard about this, and I tried my best to distill my experience down to a couple of words, or 3 words specifically. The coach said magic, team, and pride. I like that. I got to steal that. But I tried to distill it down to 3 words. And if they don't resonate with you, that's okay, because these are my 3 words. And you may have 3 of your own, and that's okay. But I'll start with the first, and I have to begin with what I'm feeling right now. And when I think of this place, and when I think of home, our home, the feeling that fills my entire being, from the crown of my head to the soles of my feet, when I think about this place, the time that I spent here, the relationships and memories that I forged, I'm filled with love. There's a special kind of love here, y'all. And when I stepped foot onto this campus, I distinctly remembered that I was immediately called in to be loved on. I was called in by other Black students who were my peers and upperclassmen. I was called into love from Black faculty and staff, and it was genuine, ever-giving, grace-extending, relationship-fostering, experience-defining love. The love that demanded that we talk to other Black students when we saw them on the streets of Athens. You acknowledge people. And why is that? Because it can be strikingly lonely at a PWI when you leave the comfort of your own dorm room. And sometimes, just sometimes, the love from our kinfolk is the only thing we have to sustain us. That same love taught me to seek understanding with my fellow Black students, even when in the fires of conflict. The love I experienced down here was kind enough to call me in behind closed doors, but bold enough to call me out in public when accountability demanded it of me. I've thrown the word love around a lot, so I can't say another word about the love that beats in my heart for this place without shouting out and acknowledging the love chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. It's a big part of my development here. I'm the leader I am because of that organization, but I digress. This is not a Kappa event. We're here to love on everybody, but I love my brothers. But my point is, and shout out to Epsilon Omicron too, congratulations on your anniversary. But my point is, I feel that love, the love from my time here. I feel it with every single beat of my heart since I departed this campus, and the love I experience here is so important to me because I carry it every day in my heart. In the work that I do, I'm committed to racial justice work, not because I love the law, but because I love my people. The law doesn't move me like that. My people do, though. And my love for my people was refined here. It was sharpened here because so many people loved on me down here when I was undeserving of it. The love was deep, the love was ever-flowing, and it was special because it was the kind of love that can only come from community, and that's the second word that captures my experience down here. Community and love. Love through and from community. You see, when I was a student here on campus, I knew that we had something special down here in these hills. But it wasn't until years later that I came to truly understand what makes communities like this and some others so special. I will boldly say it about the community that we have down here. It's sacred. It's special. And that point was made readily apparent 2 years ago at the beginning of the pandemic, when we lost the ability to be in community with each other. We had that taken away from us. But this community is sacred and it's special, and it was made readily available to me. And what I realized was that it didn't just happen by chance. It was carefully crafted and meticulously curated. Community is sacred. And it was Black love that wrapped me up down here and created community. It was built. It didn't just survive, it thrived, right? And we were taught and showed that we weren't visitors to this place. This was home. This university belonged as much to us as it did to any other student here. We had a place here. We had a home. And it was sacred because of the Ty Carrs of the world, the Stacey Brinkleys, the Dr. Francine Childs, the Linda Daniels, the Angela Davises of my experiences. Now, all of those names may not be familiar or resonate to you specifically because maybe you know Angela, but maybe you didn't experience OU under Angela. She may not have been part of your specific experience, but you had an Angela Davis in your experience. She was a person who poured into you more than you may have deserved. When you were down here in Athens, there were Black faculty and staff who were anchors of our time here. And because of them, many of us were launched into this world to live lives of value, to do extraordinary things, just to have the opportunity to come back home and pour back into this community. So love, community, which is sacred. And the last word that captures my time here was actually a little bit harder to put my finger on. I couldn't really nail it down, but early in my racial justice career, I came across a fierce advocate in Alabama named Rose Sanders. She goes by Fire Rose now. And love and honor to her. She does amazing work across the South. I came across her work early, but through my work with Black farmers, I became familiar with her. And she talks about the faith, the resilience, and hope you have to possess to do this work of race, this racial justice work. And how you have to believe in collective action. If I put my work in, I probably won't get far, but if you put yours in and our neighbors and families put their in too, we might be able to move this ball just a little bit. Or we could move mountains together. She used to say that you have to believe that the mighty river is filled drop by drop. You take what's been given to you and you take care of it so you can pass it on to someone else who's coming after you. Your fight of today has to be fought with a keen eye towards tomorrow, with the goal of making things a little bit better for the people who walk in our footsteps. It's the sense of fidelity and altruistic commitment to a cause that's bigger than the individual, that's bigger than you, that's bigger than me. It's a commitment to contributing to things that will outlast you. And I first learned that down here. As students, we all came down here with the understanding that we're not going to be here forever. There were those who came before me who worked hard to create this Black community that I experienced, that was full of love and trust. They created a soft place for me to land. And we experienced a thriving and loving community because of them, because of their fidelity to it and their commitment to nourishing it. Love, community, and fidelity are at the core of who I am because of this place, because of the time that I spent down here in Athens, Ohio. I think of those things, love, community, and fidelity, and how fortunate I was to leave here with those things written on my heart, those foundational principles. And I marvel at the strength of John Newton Templeton and Martha Jane Huntley, who navigated their experience down here without that support and without that well-nourished community. We Black alumni, actually, let me speak through my walk. As I think of my time here, I can never repay what I owe to many of you in this room. I can't. You all created something that I tapped into. The debt is too high. I can't pay that back, but I thank you. I thank you so much because you all put this together for me and the people who came after you, so we thank you. But even as I honor you, I think of the future that we're called to build for Black students who are down here right now. We return every couple of years, not as visitors, but because this is home. Ohio University is ours, too. This is our community. But if it's ours, we have to give to it. We have to nourish it. We have to feed it. We have to love on it. And I challenge you, just as much as I'm challenging myself, to give your time, give your resources, give of your energy, give your brilliance, give your mentorship. The richness of this community, our community, and the future of what we have here depends on it. It doesn't survive if we don't. We have to give to it. Black alumni, I love you. With all sincerity, I love you so dearly. To have this opportunity to share with you how much this place means to me is one of the biggest honors of my professional career. So I thank you for it. Welcome home, and I'll see you uptown.
Thank you so much, Dorian. And now I'd like to invite you all to join me in welcoming Ohio University's current president, Dr. Hugh Sherman, to the podium.
I don't know how to follow Dorian's talk. I so appreciate, Dorian, you sharing what it was like to be part of the Black community when you were here. And I think, that made it a really special night tonight. So thank you so much for... This has been an incredible night, part of the historic Black Alumni Reunion. It is so nice to see all the Bobcats reuniting last night at the welcome ceremony. I noticed that many people stayed several hours after it started. And the Trailblazers, I mean, congratulations to the 3 award winners tonight, and congratulations to their family. They truly deserve to be celebrated. I want to thank all of you for being here tonight and joining us, coming back for the third every 3 years. When people ask me what makes Ohio special, I can see it in the group, right? It's the love and friendship that you've developed with each other and how you developed that while you were at Ohio University. We are honored that each of you chose to come back this special weekend, and I hope you enjoy this time at Ohio and this weekend. It is now my honor to introduce Athens Mayor Steve Patterson to make a special presentation. I also invite the Board of Trustees Chair Peggy Viegwager and the Black Alumni Reunion co-chairs Ashley Ferguson and Del Robinson to join me.
Bar. Welcome home. Welcome home. Like a lot of everyone that came up here tonight, I asked Ty, hey, how much time do I have? And he said 2 minutes. Being a former faculty member here at Ohio University, there's no way you can give me just 2 minutes. I do want to say a few things. It is great to have you back. And let me just kind of give you an update real quick on some of the things that you've missed over the past 3 years when you have been away. There's been so much change here in Athens, and we're going to continue to move forward. Dorian, your work really makes me think hard about some of the mission that the city and the city government is on, to where we are at the starting point of a long, long journey of understanding our city government's role in systemic racism and making a major change in recognizing that and moving forward to where we have racial equity within the government, within the city. We've got a lot of work ahead of us, but we're on that path. Real quick, it's one of the perks of being married to the Associate Dean of the Patton College of Education is understanding what's going on in the Patton College. I want to share with you, this is so cool. I am so proud of this happening. There's a program called Brothers Rise, which is a hip-hop based education program. So to Dr. Penick's comments earlier, it fits. It begins with educating our P through 12 programs, and I think a program like that is going to be amazing. So yay. The City of Athens, they've got some great things going on. The Edward and Maddie Berry did a great job in the City of Athens historically, and I know with Ada Adams and with T. Ford Muhammad Ahmad, we're working to preserve the Mount Zion Church here in the City of Athens. We need to have an area, a space that becomes a gathering space that is home to all of our citizens, and that will make that space. A big shout out to Carolyn Bailey Lewis, who's here tonight, as well as Dr. J.W. Smith. Both Dr. Lewis and Dr. Smith, they laid the groundwork for there to be a NAACP branch here in Athens. So thank you. We are moving in Athens. That's probably 2 minutes, right? It is my honor, truly it is my honor, to proclaim today a special, special day. Let me read this, bear with me. Office of the Mayor, Proclamation. Whereas Black Alumni Reunion Bar is a signature alumni weekend that takes place in Athens campus every 3 years. And whereas
Bar is Ohio's largest reunion outside homecoming, beginning with the soulful Bobcats in the 1960s and later evolving into Bar and now to these present-day gatherings. And whereas the City of Athens joins with Bar in this year's theme, honoring the past, building the future. And whereas the weekend features an exchange of mix of casual and formal events, from networking to learning opportunities to entertainment, sports, and festive activities. And whereas I commend Ohio University Alumni Association and particularly my dear friend Ty Carr, who tirelessly led these tremendous efforts along with the planning committee, his colleagues, and other partners at Ohio University. Now, therefore, I, Steve Patterson, the mayor of the city of Athens, Ohio, do hereby proclaim September 15th through the 18th, so more than one day, it's the weekend, 2022, as the 2022 Ohio University Black Alumni Reunion Weekend. Before I hand this off, I do want to recognize an individual who came here tonight. I want to mention Lacey Rogers. She is a 3-time graduate here at Ohio University. Lacey, if you'd stand up real quick. Lacey started her work with the city 4 days ago. She is now our Director for Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Accessibility for the city of Athens. This goes to you.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, President Sherman, Chair Vaywiger, and Mayor Patterson. Let's get a round of applause for that. I feel that I speak for all of us here when I say that we are so very proud of honoring our past and building our future at Ohio University. It is now my pleasure to welcome to the podium a 1978 Scripps of College Communication alumna and president of EBN National, Valerie Bierix Hill. Valerie.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's so good to be home. Thank you, Dale. What a wonderful evening tonight. We have witnessed just a bit of the spirit of Ohio University. As national president of the Ebony Bobcat Network, I want to underscore that the singular thing that has made our university experience so very special is our unity. Our heritage is rooted in the way that the Black community, students, faculty, and staff, and alumni have leaned on one another and created special and lasting relationships. That unity is what brought us here to Athens this weekend. It is what has brought us together in this ballroom tonight. I am delighted that all of you could be here for this special celebration. I thank you. Enjoy the after party.
I'm already here.
Okay. Thank you, Valerie. And thank you for attending this stellar event. All proceeds go to benefit the EBN Urban Scholarship Endowment. And I thank you all for being a part of tonight's Bar 22 Gala celebration. I invite Ty to the podium.
Well, I get the last words. Good, and I'll be quick. Thank you. Well, this concludes tonight's program. And as we close our time together, before I turn it over to our great band, I want to recognize my right hand and my left hand, Dell Robinson, my fraternity brother, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, and Ashley Ferguson, my sister, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. These were my two co-chairs, so they were able to read my emails, my texts at maybe 1:30, 2 in the morning, and respond sometime, Ashley especially. Dell will respond bright and early in the morning to wake me up. But I want to take this opportunity to present them with two gifts on behalf of the Ohio University Alumni Association and the Bar Planning Committee. And now, I think they told me, I could pick a song, a favorite song, and I picked my favorite song. So now I'm going to turn it over to the band as they play As by Stevie Wonder. Thank you all. Have a great evening. Enjoy the after party or whatever you'll be doing when you leave here. Thank you very much. All right.
Could we hold for 1 second, please? We would be remiss if we did not provide an additional thank you, and this will be the last one. We are giving thanks for my fraternity brother, friend, and colleague, Brother Ty Carr, for the time that he spent, what he's invested, and what he has poured into this Black Alumni Reunion. This has become his life's blood. Thank you, Ty. On behalf of the Bar Committee, we award you this gift wholeheartedly for the time that you've placed into this event and what you've invested in it to make it one of the premier Black alumni reunions in the United States.
Thank you. I don't have anything to add. Thank you. You all. Thank you. I got a recognition earlier this week, and they said, "What's your favorite quote?" And even in what Dorian was saying, it speaks in this. I've learned that people will forget what you said, People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And that's by Maya Angelou. And that's all I ever wanted to do when I came here in 1991, and continue to do. I don't have to be Administrator of the Year. I don't have to do any of that, because I just want to make students that I've interacted with come back and show that whatever I did made a difference. Thank you again.
Hold on. Behind every great man is a great woman. And everybody knows that from time to time, what was really keeping the trains on the tracks at all times when we couldn't get Ty? Could Annette Talbert please approach the podium? This lady shares a desk and an office with Ty. She's been side by side with him for about 18 months. God bless you. We truly appreciate what you've done to make this event what it is, and we thank you. And please approach the podium.
Thank you. You usually can't get me to shut up. I can't even see over the microphone here. Thank you. It's been a pleasure, and I've really enjoyed working with all of you and helping make this event a great event. Thank you.
I now cue our band to take us out this evening.